Hello and welcome to SpotLight.
It's the podcast that lifts the curtain on life at Wolverhampton Grand Theatre. I'm Scott.
I'm Tonia, and we are joined by an amazing cast member, Bree.
Hello.
From Come From Away, a cast member from Come From Away. Absolutely amazing show.
Thank you.
So, Bree, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am a performer.
Yes.
I act, I sing, and I dance. I also choreograph as well. I teach higher education when I'm not acting. And then I'm also hoping just to go into the creative side more so. I've been resident choreographer and assistant, etc., but I've never choreographed my own piece of theatre, and I'd love to do that in the next few years.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm basking in that. I'm like, hello, Bree, choreograph me.
I will, one day.
Yes, please. Oh, it's just, we are so in awe of this show. It's just absolutely sensational. And
Yeah.
we've been excited. We've met some of other cast members as well.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your character, Hannah.
Yes, so I play the character Hannah, who her full name is Hannah O'Rourke. She's a real person that is living today, and was on a plane in 9/11, and she in the show she's a woman from Queens, and she has a son who's a firefighter, and she has just come back from a solo holiday that her son is saying, "Go on, Mum, you never go on any holidays. Go on holiday." So she's gone on holiday, and and then it happens, and she's been diverted to Newfoundland, to Gander, and she kind of has a roller coaster of a journey of trying to get into contact with her son.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to give any spoilers
No,
because
no.
I want people to watch it, but whether she can get in contact, whether she can't, she just has a crazy emotional journey of that, basically, is the whole show of her just ringing and trying to get through.
Yeah. And I guess for Hannah, she, as you say, she went on a solo holiday. So, of course, she was there on her own and then sort of stranded in Gander for 5 days. I imagine she came away with thousands of friends at the end of this.
Yeah.
What is it like to be part of this show, which for us watching just seems like such a hug,
Yeah.
such a community? Is it like that when you're in the show?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Because it's such an ensemble piece, you will put down a jacket on a chair, which is not your jacket, and then 5 scenes later, that jacket will be picked up by someone else. So everyone works with everyone. If you don't put your chair on spike 6, purple spikes, there's lots of little spike marks on the ground.
Yes.
If
We
you
are
don't-
actually on the set
Yes.
of Come From Away. I should just say that.
Yeah.
That we are. Carry on.
Yeah, if you don't put your chair correctly, then the audience don't understand that you're on an aeroplane, because it ruins the illusion if someone's ever so slightly off. So it does feel like a hug. It does feel like a community, because we have to work with and for each other. Yeah, you can't be selfish in this show.
No, and with the technicality of chair moving, and I was told it's called chairography.
Chairography, yeah.
So,
That's what
yes.
it's called, yeah.
So did you have anything to do with any of the chairography yourself, or this wasn't?
No,
something
I
that
was I was just told what to
To
do,
do?
and I did it. For this one, I'm fully cast member. I'm
Yeah.
not creative in any part, or dance captain or anything. We have an amazing dance captain called
Yes.
Angie. But yeah, I'm cast only. I try and separate them when I can, because I have been cast and creative at the same time, and it's a lot in a show.
Yes.
But yeah, with rehearsals, we had a tiny little black book, and we'd write down the numbers, because we had to be off script for like week 1,
Right.
because we were just moving the chairs. You can't move the chairs and have your script in your
Yeah.
hand. So
No.
just write down the numbers, put it in our pocket, then go on the next scene. But chairography is a thing in this show.
It
for
really
sure.
is a thing.
Yeah.
The
And
amount.
our chairs have got different numbers, right? So
Yeah,
this is
right.
chair number 5. What
Yep.
do you
Yeah, what do you
chair
do?
11?
And what do you do
Like,
with chair
so-
11 and 5 and?
And 2.
Yes.
And no chair belongs to any particular person,
No,
right? No.
everyone goes on different ones, but most of the spikes have numbers on it, and
Yeah.
so all the purple spikes, for example, could be just when we're in the plane, then all the red ones when we're in the bar, then the green ones when we're in the school, and then in the second half, I know it's only one act, but the second bit of the show, they get recycled, so you could be putting back on the purples, but the spike will say 11 and you're putting chair 2 on it.
Really?
So you just have to remember what chair it is, and they're all slightly different, they're all unique, and you just remember it, basically.
Oh my
That has
goodness.
got to be unlike any other
Anything?
show. that's
Yeah,
out
I have
there,
never,
right?
in terms of dancing, this show isn't like got lots of choreography in, and it's the kind of most simplistic dance-wise that I've done. But in terms of mentality and specificity,
Yes.
it is the complicated show I have ever done,
Yes.
and probably ever will do.
Yeah.
Like, just crazy.
Yeah, it is. But wonderful to watch, like, as an audience member. It seems so simple and but it's not simple, it's slick. That's really what it is. It's so slick. And the reason being is because you have to be so specific with where you're putting the numbers. So what do you know, do you move number 11? Do you know what chair numbers you move?
You know what? Until we're in situ,
Situ,
I'm not
it's
actually sure because these two are quite similar. Yeah, I do. I moved that
Number
one.
11.
I moved that one in the plane at some point. And I moved this one in the.
I bet it's one of
So
those
no.
shows, right? So you say off the set, away from the theatre, not a clue.
Yeah.
But then as soon as the show starts, you
know exactly what.
what
Yeah.
it's- yeah.
I couldn't tell you what numbers these are.
No.
In rehearsals, we had like big numbers
Yes.
on them, but I couldn't. Right now, I can't say. Actually, I think that is 11. But I can't tell you what numbers they are.
No, this
Yes,
is
this
11.
is
All our, there we go. So it's not. All our standbys can tell you exactly what
they can.
numbers. They name them as well because they have 4 roles to cover.
Yes.
So they cover 2 as their like first covers and 2 as their second covers.
Wow.
So they are just super standbys, I call them.
So,
Yeah.
Hannah, could you tell us a little bit about when you got the news that you were casting this show and how you felt about it? And did you know anything about this show beforehand?
Yeah, so I had watched this about 3 or 4 years ago in the West End. On its second year, I think I watched it. And I just loved it. Me and my friend watched it and we just sat after, we just clapped. The whole band did their play out and we just sat in our seats for about 5 minutes just processing, digesting, adjusting. And then, it came about last year when I was doing Titanic the musical. I was touring in that. And this audition came through and I was thinking, I'm a little bit young age-wise, my actual age for any of the roles in the show, minus Janice maybe. But I was put forward and they wanted to see me as Hannah. And I was like, wig and glasses and outfit. I've got to play an older character. So even in my audition, I wore something slightly that made me look older, basically.
Yes.
I had a dreaded wig as well.
Did you?
I went for it.
And you really tried to do that kind of thing.
I was like, I am 50, I promise. No, a few decades away. But anyway, and a few people in in Titanic at the time were auditioning for it, so we were singing certain stuff together, listening to each other. I had 2 rounds in London, and then the dance call I couldn't go to because we had a matinee as well, but they seen my CV and that wonderful casting director Natalie has cast me in things before, knew I can dance, etc. And I just got the final, and it was such a beautiful audition process.
Come on.
This and The Colour Purple that I did the year before last, which actually was here.
Yes. Can you see with that as well?
have been the best audition process I've ever had because the creative team have been so kind, so friendly, so welcoming, so just no pressure at all kind of thing. Do your thing. And then, literally a week or 2 later, I got the phone call just before I went to warm up in Titanic. I got the job and I was like, I was ecstatic. I honestly didn't think I would play a role like this for at least another 10 years.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm just I feel so blessed, so privileged, and I put everything into this role, and I have to understand that I was cast for a reason. Many people audition, so I have to just let that sink in sometimes because it is crazy. It's a on-stage cast of 12 and then 6 standbys, it's 18 people, so I'm happy.
Oh,
I love it.
Is there an extra weight that you carry knowing that Hannah is a real person and maybe she hasn't seen this touring production, but presumably she's seen the show and you have to do it sensitively and
100%.
for her.
For sure.
Right?
I think, hers is one of the most sensitive stories in the show, for sure. And the fact that she's still living and I think her daughter is going to come and watch this tour at some point.
Oh, tell her to come to
Come to Wolves,
Wolverhampton.
come to Wolves, we've got
No,
Timbits.
honestly, yeah, we've got
Tell you what, if you want a Timbit,
Yeah, we brought you Timbits
because
as
everything
well.
starts and ends at Tim Hortons, so if
Yeah.
you want one of them,
Yeah.
do feel free.
I'll have one off.
After, yes.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'll be mentioning it as we're
Yeah,
going,
no,
but
we'll
thank you.
remember.
Yeah.
That you
Okay.
need.
Yeah, get Hannah's daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I believe Hannah watched the original, either I think it was Broadway as opposed
Yes.
to London, and it's just I try and come across as real and truthful as possible without impersonating her. Because I've never met her, I'm not impersonating her, but all the details I have in the script and all the facts that are on the internet that you can just search for as well. I put into play, and then obviously I add my own creative license on top of that. But yeah, there most definitely is a pressure, because shows like Michael Jackson or Tina or anything, shows like biographies, if that's the word. The people are massive pop stars,
Of course.
and thousands of people know them. But these people that we're talking about are real living, and they're not famous. They're just regular people that you have to share their story. And I'm amazed at the fact that we get a standing ovation every night. The way the audience receive our show is wild.
But it's not one of those forced standing ovations
No,
that sort of just
no.
happens here, a bit here and a bit there. It's in one.
Everybody's
Everyone,
on.
every time. Every
Everybody's
time
on.
I've seen it, shoom, straight.
And rightly so, and so well deserved. And it's like you said, the weight of I think what you were talking about in terms of these are real characters, and Hannah's real story being portrayed and told is the reason why this show has got such a big heart to it. It's just outstanding, honestly, and I think that is why everybody's on their feet. Because actually, you could be telling my story. Yeah. You could be, it's all of our stories. This is the story of humanity and love and caring and how people will just rally together. And you know what? We need that right now. In the world right now, we need...
It's clear that the essence of every single Newfoundlander is in your character, whether or not you're not imitating them, but they're in there, aren't they?
And the audience can relate with somebody in the cast, because it's such a diverse cast in terms of ages, religions, genders, race, etc. It's so diverse. Someone in the audience can relate with something. Someone's story.
I believe that is actually a really good point. And you play more than one character, because everyone's
like Hannah and others, or
Janice
and others.
Yes.
What others? Is there a name?
So my first character that you see before I'm Hannah is a character called Margie. Yeah. When I'm on the bus and I'm driving the bus, the moose bus, I'm Mickey then. My character who wears a hijab, who's a Muslim character in the fight scene, is called Aaliyah. I've got
you got multiple.
Yeah.
No, so not only did you have chairography, you had some other ographies going on in your
hijabography,
moose-ography, bus-ography, every ography.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow, you are multi-talented.
Thank you.
Honestly.
Thank you very
much.
much.
A beautiful, beautiful person you are, and cast member as well. It is an absolute honour to bask in your presence and just to be around you. It's such a great show. It really is. Yeah. And we cannot wait for you to come to Wolverhampton.
Have you been before to the Grand? Or?
I have not. I don't think. My very first tour, I might have played there, but I can't remember, so I feel like I would have. Yeah. But I've done quite a few tours, and it's only when I get back to the theatre, I'm like, actually, I did play.
But you're never going to forget it this time.
No, you will be very
never
welcome.
Gonna forget it, never gonna forget it. I wish I could do the singing. Bree, you got to help me.
Bev Knight.
Oh, no, you know our
Bev.
She's a Wolverhampton girl, and she will help us. Yeah. So, I know, Bree, you've got to go. But before you go, and before we give you your Timbits, we do have a little tradition.
Okay. Ooh.
It's a little simple. So it's just a little bit of fun. So our podcast, this is it's a new podcast, isn't it? So what we do is we ask our guests, if you don't mind, just so we can have a bit of fun. We just want you to kind of On the spot. Can you see the jiggy? We just want a little bit of a what do we call it? A jingle.
We don't have a jingle.
Jingle yet.
Ooh,
Yes.
okay.
We
I
didn't
don't
have
think
to.
we're ever going to have one.
No, I don't think we
because-
want one because it's so good. Everybody just comes up with their own version. But
Okay.
the only things that you need to include is Spotlight at the Wolverhampton Grand Theatre. That's literally. Is
That's
that
it. Spotlight podcast at Wolverhampton Grand
Spotlight
Theatre.
podcast at the Wolverhampton Grand Theatre. But you can do it however you want.
Cool.
Literally.
Okay.
Oh, you're
I'm
up for
thinking.
the challenge.
I am, yeah.
I love that.
Okay.
And then you get a Timbit.
Okay. Oh, okay.
If you like it.
If
Which
you
I've
like
got
it,
a feeling we will.
We will.
Okay. So just
Yeah,
go for
just
it.
go for it when you're
Okay.
ready.
Ooh,
Do
love
some
nervous.
percussion.
Spotlight podcast. That's like a tongue twister. Spotlight
Yes.
podcast. Okay. Welcome to the Spotlight podcast. Welcome to the Spotlight podcast. I said, welcome to the Spotlight podcast. A Wolverhampton Grand Theatre. I don't know.
That is a winner.
That could go in at the number one
That
spot.
is actually the number one spot at the moment. That is the literally number one spot.
Now, we normally replicate it with
we
you.
can't replicate. We was going to tell you. We was going to say, teach us, and now we can do the first bit. Welcome to the
Podcast. Yeah.
Welcome to the Spotlight podcast. Welcome to the Spotlight podcast.
A
Wolverhampton Grand
Theatre.
Something like that.
I loved it.
Don't know what I did.
Oh
Bree.
my goodness! You make me feel 10 feet tall, even though I'm only 5'1"
That's okay.
and a half.
Sure, isn't that stick together? I'm 5'4".
Have please
Oh, you've
enjoy
earned
your
your Timbit,
Timbit
There
at
you
Tim
go.
Hortons.
Indeed.
What was the line
as
again?
well?
Well, yeah, we made sure it was lit up. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you for
And
having
thank
me.
you, everyone, as well, for listening and watching at home. We can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.